Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Cop 4. You know, when we all started this channel, I hope that we were going to come on. We were talking about how good Liverpool were, how big of a season we were going to have at the end of the season, going into the last run in. And then the international break ended, and we came straight back to reality with an absolute thumping by Man City. And that will probably be the majority of the talk today. I know Max, Brian, Liam, you all have your opinions on it. We've all seen the content you put out, and I think a lot of it is just frustration. I would say is probably the word.
Yeah.
And definitely there's probably a few more angrier words that you can put in. But yeah, welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you're new to the channel, if you're just jumping in, this is our second live. We are going to be live every Monday and Thursday talking about Liverpool. We want to build this channel, this community, up to one of the biggest Liverpool communities out there. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But yeah, in today's kind of live, we're just going to be talking about obviously the Man City game, maybe some of the fallout from that. Obviously, Salah, is he going to be in the team for the PSG? That's kind of a big talking point in the group chat at the minute. Szoboszlai's remarks after the game and his performance, I would say, or what he did after the game, and kind of what your opinions of it are on that. And then obviously leading up to the PSG game, how are we feeling about that? Because I think a lot of Liverpool fans are concerned. Is probably the word I would use there. Yeah, worried. But lads, how are you? How was your weekend after Saturday?
Absolutely rubbish.
I mean, apart from the football, it was all right. But yeah, Saturday lunchtime kind of ruined it. I can't lie.
Yeah. We can always count on Arsenal to
got
cheers
out of the way
up.
early, though. You know, get out of the way, get the disappointment out of the way early. You can finish the rest of the weekend, watch Arsenal lose. You know,
was good.
Watch the games on Sunday.
That was
a salvation, but I feel like with the early games, it can ruin your whole weekend. So you just have to sit on it the whole weekend watching other teams play. But I will say that Arsenal result went down a tree.
Yeah, mad. But I suppose to start the weekend, we had the early kickoff straight off the international break. Klopp used to hate it. Going into the game, we did have a lot of, I would say, optimism. I think most of us predicted us to go through. We're a little bit concerned about like maybe some of the worries that we have had throughout the season. I think most of us said either a win after extra time, or me and Liam said penalties. And yeah,
fair,
like
when
just
you say penalties or extra time, we can't have had much.
Yeah, it's hope.
There's no real belief there.
To be fair, the Etihad's a tough place to go at the best of times, even when we're playing well. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose, Brian, you had obviously, I think your piece after the match was really good. It was opinionated. It was strong. I think a lot of Liverpool fans resonated with it. How you were feeling after that game? How are you feeling now after kind of 48 hours later? Like, what are your kind of feelings about the whole situation?
I think it was apparent in the video that I had an absolute crash out. I think I had a crash out in the group chat mid-game. Yeah, look, it's just one of them. I think what bothers me the most is it's the players now more than the manager. I've accepted the manager will change in the summer. I've accepted that the manager isn't good enough in my eyes anymore, and I don't think that'll ever change for a lot of Liverpool fans. But the players, given that performance and just half-arsing it the whole way through, and even the captain, Virgil van Dijk, coming out and saying that they kind of gave up halfway through the game, it's deflating, to be completely honest with you. It's not what a fan wants to hear, and I think I still feel the same sentiment, maybe less anger now, but definitely still really not happy over everything that's happened.
Yeah, Max, how are you feeling?
Yeah, disappointed. I'd say angry, but at the same time, we've seen this so often. I just watched back the highlights just before coming on here. First time I watched it, obviously since it happened live, and some of the goals there, just nothing short of a disgrace, especially the fourth goal. The fourth goal, I'd actually say, is the worst goal we've conceded this season. And that's saying
there's
something.
Many of them.
Yeah, there's so many, but that players strolling about, not caring. I think what Brian said there is important, because I think we've all kind of given up with the manager. But yeah, I found myself after Saturday being more annoyed and embarrassed about some of the players, especially after Szoboszlai and what he done to the fans there at the end. Yeah, just really, really deflated, and especially considering the start we made. I actually thought we started pretty well, first 30, 35 minutes, but we're so fragile that any setback, and we're basically done. Obviously, the penalty happens. But that was too easy in the first place to get it into the box and give it away. But yeah, not good enough. This is kind of the Liverpool that we're used to, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We're becoming normalised to it at this stage. Liam, how are you feeling about it?
Mate, I'm pretty much just echoing everyone else's thoughts. I think Brian touched on it, didn't he? The players giving up. Max touches on the Szoboszlai thing. I especially didn't like the Ekatiké's swapping shirts while we're 4-0 down during the game. Like Mark said, though, I did think we started well. You know, that first 35 minutes, I generally thought, you know what, we are the better side here. If anyone's going to score in this first half, it is going to be us. But yeah, like Max says, once we go goal down, and we've seen it so many times this season, we're just so fragile. We just capitulate every single time. And it's frustrating, mate.
This is a question for all of you, but do you think, like, you know, when you're like in that kind of environment and you, like, us as fans, we feel like, I remember we were talking about after the Galatasaray game, we were going into the Brighton game and we were worried because we know this team lets us down and they have let us down so often. Do you think, like, they recognize that and, like, I wouldn't say they know that they're going to throw in the towel, but they just know that, like, if they concede a goal, that it's just like, what's the point? Do you say that's in their heads, or is it a case of, like, they don't realize what's going wrong? I'm not saying that they don't want to win, but, like, that when it gets tough, it's like, I don't know, I'm not really up for this. Because teams can be like that, where they just kind of almost sit in themselves, you know what I mean, and don't play to their fullest ability.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what you need. I made a video about it yesterday, and we actually touched on it earlier when we were all speaking. That's when you need, like, leaders in the squad to lift the standards again. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone is just so content in the team, whether that's the manager or the players. Everyone's so content with just letting the standards keep dropping further and further, like every month, basically. You know, we thought it was bad in October or whatever. We have a little tiny bit of improvement in December, January, but it seems to just be going even worse now towards the back end of the season. I'm not sure. Looking at our fixtures between now and the end of the season, I'm actually not sure we win any of them. Genuinely being serious, in the last live, I said that I was confident for the rest of the season. The City game has completely killed any bit of confidence.
90 minutes later, it's like, yeah, we're not winning a game.
No, mate. If you look at them, if you do look at the fixtures, like they're all fixtures that we've struggled in previously. We got Fulham in the Premier League next, which is probably our easiest game on paper. But I don't think Slot's ever beat Fulham. You know what I mean? Not to take it into, like, you know, looking too far ahead now, but yeah, it seems like there's no leaders in the squad at all. Like, you look in the past, we had Henderson, Milner, Lallana, players like that, but there's no one like that in the squad now. But I was speaking about it with Brian yesterday. Like Van Dijk, Salah, Robertson, those players were there when Henderson was there, was there when Milner was there. They should have seen the standards that they were setting every day. They should be continuing to do it now, you know, in training, in the games. To be fair, Robertson doesn't play too many games, does he? So he can't really do it on the pitch, but it just seems like there's a real lack of leadership.
It's definitely a mental thing, like, at this point. But one of the most deflating things about Saturday is that I think Man City took their foot off the gas when it went to 4-0. I think they could have easily beat us like 7 or 8. And I think that obviously says a lot. But what can you do? These players, I'm not having a lot of them, I'll be honest. Even some of the new signings, I know I mentioned on the last live that we done that I think they're super talented, but you know, football's not all about talent. I think they've got a lot to work on from a mindset and mentality point of view.
I think they just want the season to end, to be completely honest. I know we feel that as fans as well, but you look at them on international duty and they look so rejuvenated that we almost picture that they're going to bring that back into the team. But I think with obviously the tragedy that's happened last year, and I won't touch on it too much, but I think they've obviously just been in that dressing room now for so long together, most of them, that they're probably just wanting out of it. They probably want the season to finish and to have that break in America, or, you know, just to, if you're not going to America playing, just to have a break away from the club. And I think that's why you see the likes of Salah and possibly Robertson move on in the summer, while obviously they've had some sort of a decline. I think, to be completely honest, I'd say they just want to go to a different environment altogether now. I think it's gotten too much.
Yeah, like, I think environment is an important word that you said there. Do you mean? I think having a good environment is so crucial to a successful team. And I think if you look at the changes that we've obviously made in the summer, I don't think that, and we've talked about this already last week, that we brought in the right profile of players. So we're basically, I think one of you said was like, I think Liam, you said it was like putting circle pegs in square holes. Is that it?
Something like
that. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Yeah, but I think, and I just think that's like one issue. Then you obviously come on to the players and like how they're performing. Their levels are not good enough. The likes of your Salah, your Van Dijks, your Alissons. And then you come on to the manager and it's like the tactics that he's doing aren't working. And then you're looking at like, we're talking about like some of the management, like Van Bronckhorst. Like, what is he doing?
What does he do?
I'm coming for it.
What does he do?
Yeah. And then like the hierarchy, there's so many wrong things. And I just feel, and I think, but the thing is like the quality is there. The players that like there's, and Max, you, as you put like talked about right there, quality can only get you so far. I mean, quality is only gets you to a certain level. You need to have application, you need to have hierarchy, you need to have structure. And this Liverpool team in the space of 12 months have completely dismantled nearly 90% of that. And that's why we're kind of seeing the situation that we're in now. But like, just talk about the positives a little bit from the start of the game. Like, do you think, because I think that's something like, yeah, it's going to be 30 minutes, you could probably say. Is that something that we could see from this team going forward? The flicks, the tricks, obviously we need the goals to match it, but is that something that we could potentially get out of them consistently from now to the end of the season? Or is it a case of we're going to see what we're going to continue to see?
If you get Florian Wirtz on the ball, I think you'll see a lot more quality, but he has to consistently get on the ball and you have to see runners. He is the only one at the moment, it feels like. It seems like he's the only one looking to try and make, you know, that pass into the final third that no one is looking to pick up. I think you need a massive improvement from every single forward in that aspect.
I mean, you look at this Liverpool team. Like I said, they're super talented, and in those first 30 minutes, I was actually impressed with how we were feeding Wirtz the ball a lot. But we're a moments team. You said that last week, Jamie. We're a moments team. We never put together a full 90 minutes performance like that. And even when we are on top in a game, do you ever feel like, oh, we're going to kill them with 2 goals and then, you know, we've got the lead? It's not going to happen. Like, we had the chances. Salah had one. Ekitike had one. They're half chances, but I mean, the top teams, they put them away. But we don't do that at all.
That's what I mean. When you get half chances at the Etihad, and I wouldn't even say, I'd say they're more than half chances, 3/4 chances.
The Salah one isn't a half chance. It's definitely a full-on chance. That
Salah one was so annoying. Like, I can't believe. I feel like just in any other season, you know, it definitely is a confidence issue. In any other season, he would have just carried on dribbling towards Trafford. I feel like he scored a goal like that at Old Trafford before. Just dribble towards him and just poke it past him. It was so simple. Gahey wasn't closing the angle. Kusanov was on the floor, and so I've still got her. City
fans are gassing Kusanov now, saying he's one of the best centre backs in the league.
It weren't good. Salah takes a touch like outside, like this touch he takes to set himself for the shot. It's so bad. But then that Ekitike chance as well. I think you've got to hit the target there. I think Isak coming back will be massive. I know there's probably not too much expectation on him between now and the end of the season, but he's like the only player in our team that has that like bite, that actual want to score. He's probably the only player in the team that will actually work shots off for himself, because, you know, we were looking at that first half, and Wirtz is on the edge of the box so many times, Ekitike is on the edge of the box so many times, but, you know, the shots are either tame, they just want to play a square ball instead. Isak's the only one that would actually work a shooting opportunity for himself.
Yeah.
We're actually gassing up like the first half an hour, but you know, it's not that great. If it was a Jurgen Klopp team, we wouldn't be saying anything about it. It's just because the standards have dropped so much. Like, we were decent, we looked neat and tidy here and there, but no punch really. And it felt like a matter of time before we would get that setback and City would score the first goal, and then straight after that, for the 10 minutes leading up towards the second goal, I was just waiting for the second goal, and obviously that came. The game's over by half time.
Yeah, I think that's the disappointing thing the most. It's like, because any team, especially like away at the Etihad, you're probably going to come under a certain amount of pressure at some point. You might concede a goal, and a lot of time it's about mentality. It's like how you stick in there, how you obviously push back against adversity. And this Liverpool team this season, they've faced a lot of adversity, I would say, in certain games, and when that adversity comes, they just collapse. We've seen it time and time again. And I think we're going to talk about Szoboszlai later on, but like, fans don't mind losing. I think that's the big thing. Fans don't mind losing. They understand it's a game. You can be unlucky. Whatever happens in a game, it doesn't matter. But like your application and how you go out and apply yourself, that's what we care about. I mean, and if we don't see that and we see you give up, then like what do we have to support? We support a team that puts their all out on the pitch, not a team that just gives up anytime like a bit of issues come their way. And that's the frustrating part, I would say. But like with the goals themselves, like I suppose we do have to talk about some of the players. We talked about Salah there, and Van Dijk, and two players that have been absolute leaders. And the group chat was hopping on Saturday night, a bit of back and forth about Salah specifically. But like the big question is with Salah going into the rest of the season is, do you play him? Because I made a point to say I don't feel like he offers anything going forward or defensively, and whether that's down to maybe that he can't play anymore or his head is elsewhere, you could say either or both of them. But like, what do you think with like the players that we have in the team right now? Is there changes that are needed? And to Salah specifically, should he be playing from now until the end of the season?
The floor is yours, Brian.
Should Salah be playing from here to the end of the season? Again, depends on what the manager is going to look to do in my eyes. I'll stand on the hill, and we can agree to disagree on this point. I don't think Salah's finished, and I'll always back that point. I do think in a different environment, in a different team, or in a different setup, he actually thrives much more than he has recently. But what I will say is, for PSG, it's a no-brainer that Arne Slot's going to look to put him out on the right-hand side, so I wouldn't start him now. I would look to probably play a Jeremy Frimpong or a Dominic Szoboszlai where there is defensive stability there, because I think we need that. I think we're going to be susceptible to a lot of pressure from PSG on the ball. But talking about till the end of the season, I don't look at teams like a Fulham or a Brentford or maybe even an Everton as a team that should be putting us under a lot of pressure out of possession and in possession. So I think I would start him. I still think he's clinical. I still think he's important. Yeah, he didn't show it against City, but I still think if he's our best attacking threat by far, and he's not showing it right now, but I don't think any of our attacking line is showing it.
He's our best attacking threat this season.
Not this season, but I think at the moment overall, if I had Ekitike or Salah in on a one-on-one, I'd back Salah to finish it ahead of Ekitike.
They both showed it on Saturday that neither of them can finish it. But,
they both showed on Saturday. They're showing you finish it.
yeah.
The biggest thing about Salah against PSG is that we're coming up against the best team in the world, and you can't carry any passengers. Otherwise, we are genuinely going to get battered. And he has been a passenger out of possession all season long. But you look at a lot of these players, Wirtz and Ekitike are passengers out of possession. Yeah. Even our midfielders, to be fair. But you need to bring in someone on that right-hand side, maybe like a Szoboszlai can do a job there, or even Frimpong as an output to run in behind. But yeah, I actually wouldn't start Salah against PSG. I don't think that he should even be considered as a hot take, to be honest.
Yeah.
No.
I think people are starting to move towards that. Go on, Liam.
No, I agree as well. I don't think Salah should start against PSG. I think he struggled against them probably in both legs last season, especially in Paris. But everyone struggled in the game in Paris last season. We struggled for any sort of control on the ball. I think Wirtz will help with that, hopefully, this time around. But I wouldn't start Salah for that game. I think especially because Nuno Mendes, a left back, someone who really just goes wherever he wants on the pitch. PSG side, they're known for their rotations off the ball and things like that. They generally just, you can see Nuno Mendes on the right wing at some point, and then Hakimi's a striker. Like, if you need, that has to be the main priority, doesn't it? We have to be defensively stable. We can't have Salah leaving a man behind him, and that goes for anyone as well. Like Max says, I don't think Wirtz or Ekitike are particularly good at pressing either. I think there's probably a question mark whether Ekitike starts for the game as well, to be honest. I don't think he's particularly played well in any big game this season.
Who are we going to play up front?
I'll give you a hot take. I would start
Jane Dance.
Cody
Gakpo top.
I don't mind the shout at all. I don't think we'll see the obviously
there will be an uproar if Cody Gakpo starts.
Sorry.
Yeah, there will be could you imagine the fan base if Ekitike didn't start and Gakpo started front? Slot's head would be on a platter on the bus home. I mean, people just wouldn't have it.
Well, but I genuinely I don't think Ekitike is better at pressing and better out of possession than Gakpo is, and I think Gakpo would provide that, but it's not going to happen. I would start Gakpo up top though.
There's no way.
I think there's a possibility
That'd be suicide. I'd rather start Van Dijk up front as a striker and they want to be defensive.
We shouldn't even be looking to press high against PSG.
Yeah,
if we
low block,
meet them fire with fire, whatever it's called, we're going to get absolutely smoked. We have to sit in, and who's our out ball? If the ball gets fired up 1v1,
probably Cody Gakpo.
Gakpo in the channel. I'm sorry. I want Ekatike there. I don't want Gakpo.
Yeah, in the channel. But if you're talking about pinning a player, I do think Gakpo pins players better than Ekatike, no doubt.
I think Rio, Ekatike, Frimpong. That would probably be my
in
three.
Paris, Rio, seriously.
Rio's not going to play.
Yeah, I just for pace on like we're talking about like getting out. Do you know what I mean? Like Cody Gakpo is an out ball.
Gakpo is going to start regardless because he rested him obviously for the FA Cup game. He's going to start. I think he'll start. I think he'd be mental not to start Gakpo anyway. At the very least, I don't really see a problem with it. If I see Cody Gakpo starting in this game, I'd be happy enough. I do agree with Liam when he says pinning a defender. I think that should be his main task. I don't look to think we're going to go there and dominate the game or anything like that. So we have a player that can at least, I don't want to use the word bully a defense because I don't think Cody Gakpo does that, but to at least try challenge defenders. I definitely think Cody Gakpo can offer that.
I think he's
I'm not sure we'll play with a striker though, to be honest. Like I think if Ekatike does start off the ball, he's going to be on the left. I imagine it'll be like that double 10 system that we've seen a lot of the times in big games this season, whether it's Wirtz. We saw Wirtz and Szoboszlai playing the double 10 against Arsenal at the Emirates, didn't we? Last season before Wirtz was here, it was Jones and Szoboszlai at the Etihad. I think if we want to not lose and get absolutely battered in the first leg, then I think we probably have to go with either a double 10 system or that narrow formation, that 4-2-2-2. I don't think you can go with the 4-2-3-1, to be honest.
But the issue with the formation is at the minute is that like we've seen it against Man City, and I've seen Liam and Max, I've seen you do videos on it. It's just even when we're playing that formation, we're just so easy to play through because our press isn't there. So like if you have a box man midfield. But like you still need, like as you're playing a box man midfield, you still need your midfielders to be like on the front foot where they kind of step in if they're like a player taking it on the half turn. But if you go and nobody's coming up behind you or you're not pressing it as a system, just so easy to play through. And I've seen both your screenshots. It's just one pass. Like for their third goal where Gravenberch goes, Salah's in no man's land, and then it's just an out ball around the corner, and they're like acres of space. Szoboszlai tries to get back in. But he's the only midfielder in front of a backline 40 yards in between them. Do you know what I mean? It's like impossible.
I don't necessarily think that's a formation or system thing, though, because whatever formation we play, that's been happening all season long. So it's like the principles that are being coached into this team from the manager or not being coached. Literally not good enough at all. And me and Liam literally made the exact same video.
Same point, really.
The midfield has been empty all season, hasn't it? A lot of people liken it to this to Ten Hag ball at United.
It's very reminiscent of, isn't it? I think it just doesn't make sense at all because Slot wants that +1 at the back, doesn't he? That +1, that extra defender at the back, which obviously, first of all, means that we have one less player in our press, and we're always going to be outnumbered in that sense. But then we still go and press like that, the screenshot that we both used, Max, against for our TikTok videos against City. That screenshot that we used, we've got 5 players pressing. I don't know who it was. I think it was Rodri or someone like that, right in the City box, that high up the pitch. But then you've also got a +1 at the back. So then who's in midfield? You've got 4 at the back. You've got 5 there. You've generally just got one person in the middle of the park marking 3 City players, whether that's, Haaland dropping deep. And by the way, if Haaland's actually looking like a technically good footballer, there's a serious issue. There's a serious issue there. There's going to be, on Wednesday, there's going to be Ousmane Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Doué dropping deep and receiving the ball. It's going to be
say the PSG terror talk for later on, right?
It's going to be terrifying.
Can I just make a quick point? What annoys me about our press though is that when we do set up to press high, that we don't believe that we're going to win the ball back. They will do it half-heartedly. It's pathetic.
I don't think they're coached to win the ball back though. I think it's like just more to cut passing lanes, but it doesn't make sense at all. Like why would you not? Why? That's the point I'm trying to make as well. There's 5 players, at City's penalty area, but no one's putting pressure on the ball. So clearly there's a free man somewhere, and they can just pick it out every single time.
So easy.
Yeah, it's too easy. I think I remember seeing a video about Jurgen Klopp talking about like, I want my teams to be, obviously he wants them to be attacking. He wants people to enjoy the when they go to matches. But like, I want them to be aggressive. I want them to win the ball back. I think we have been outrun in all but 3 Premier League games this season. Like, that is mental. Man City ran 10 kilometers more than us at Anfield, 9 kilometers more than us Spurs ran than us at Anfield. Igor Tudor got 1 point in his reign at Spurs, and it was against us at Anfield. Like, I think I was chatting on a live earlier on, and I was just rattling off like these stats, and I was like, these are like every week we're getting a bad stat about this team, like record breakers in all the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
and it's because of, like, I think tactically the players, all the different reasons that you've outlined there. But yeah, I think the press is a big thing, and I think if you're being outfought and you're being outran, like, there's just the fundamentals of football, then you can't, like, you need to earn the right to play good football. Do you know what I mean? You need to earn the right to go out and try and play that free-flowing football that Slot wants to play. But like, he's not giving the players, or the players aren't doing what they have to do to earn that right. And that's why we're seeing this kind of just mess every time they go out on the pitch. I do want to talk about the kind of defensive aspect, and we talked about it there. But before we get on to that, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. 20 people in the chat already. 20 continuous people, might I say. These are all very welcome. I know there's a few comments in there as well. We're going to get to the comments in a second, but I just want to talk about this. We talked about Salah. Probably shouldn't be in the team. Virgil van Dijk is another one that's come under a lot of criticism. And we were talking about it before we went live, that he's given away 4 penalties now this season. The most that he's given away 4 penalties this season, and 4 penalties in all the other season combined has been 4. So like, he's definitely, I would say, not as sharp when it comes to his defending. You could probably say that about all of them. But like, is Van Dijk kind of on the same decline as Salah, or would you say that he still has another maybe year or two? He obviously has another year left in his contract. Will that extend? What do we think in terms of his level? Are we starting to see a decline in that as well?
No, I don't think we're seeing a decline massively. Maybe to the very minuscule margin, but you have to keep in mind Van Dijk is, what is he, 34, pushing 35 this year, and he's working with a backline and a midfield that has no structure. Again, I think it would be harsh to say that, you know, you can't put everything on him. Yes, he should do better for the penalty he gives away against City. He is a little bit sloppy, in my opinion. But he's also not getting any help. If he doesn't give that away, that passing line is still open anyway, and you have to look at another centre-half. You look at the one, and I actually initially blamed him for, I think it was City's third, because he just looks like an absolute passenger. And then I watched the clip back, and I see Joe Gomez jogging. At the end of the day, like, what is Van Dijk meant to do in these situations? I don't think he's on the same decline as maybe people will say about Salah. I definitely think maybe a minuscule margin he's dropped off a level, but again, I still think he has another 2 years at Liverpool playing the top level, and we might see that decline at the back end of next year potentially. But yeah, I don't think he's finished. I think it'd be silly to assume that he's declined that much in a little space. I think he's been our second best player this season.
Yeah, I think you can't really compare the two's decline. I think Salah's declined much more than Van Dijk this season, but he has taken a dip for me. I do feel quite sorry for him, and I think it's overblown how bad he's been this season. Opposition fans haven't watched every Liverpool game, whereas we obviously have, and I think he's easily been in our top 3 players this season. He's had when he's played bad this season, though, I will say it's been like stinking. Terrible against City, terrible against Bournemouth, terrible against PSV as well. Those 3 stand out to me. But we've been used to him basically being flawless for so many years. I feel like he has to do so many jobs in this team. And even he is probably at this point where he's just exhausted of it all. He's trying to do his best to keep up the standards, but I feel like he might be the only one really pushing that. I don't know, it's difficult for him. I wouldn't be placing too much blame on him, to be honest. Don't know about you, Liam.
No, I agree as well. I think if you look at other centre-backs probably that one position, maybe goalkeeper as well, that you can just carry on playing, continue to play as you're getting into like your late 30s. Thiago Silva was at Chelsea when he was like 40, wasn't he? I know it's a bit of a different league now, but Van Dijk's physical aspects are much more suited to the Premier League than Thiago Silva's was. Like you say, I think Van Dijk had a handful of poor games this season, but I completely agree with Brian. I think he's been our second best player this season. I would expect him. I would want him. I don't know about expect. I'm not sure if he will extend past next year, but I do want him to. I think he's more than good enough. He'll probably be our still one of the best defenders in the world in 2 years' time. That he's definitely, in my opinion, the best defender in the league still. Probably in the world still, to be honest. I think you've got, like we've just been talking about, slot structure. Like he's probably facing, I don't know if you can put a statistic on it, but we're facing a lot more. There's more than any other season, teams are carrying the ball at our defence over and over. There's so many gaps, and of course, as a centre back, you don't want players dribbling at you. I think if he was in a more protected defensive system, like imagine if you put him in Arsenal's team, like they would be
exactly
right now. I don't think they probably won the league already. They would have won the Carabao Cup. They would do the quadruple with Van Dijk in the team.
No, I just want to make a quick point on that, Liam, as well, because I completely agree with everything you've said there. But I think, and this might be a hot take, maybe it isn't, but I think Van Dijk at this current level is better than both Gabriel and Saliba. Like genuinely, I don't think they touch the same level on their best day. Even on Van Dijk's average day, I don't think they touch Van Dijk's level, and I think that includes this season. Yeah, like we've said, he might have a little bit of a dip here and there, but again, I think he's just so far clear, and I think he will continue to do that for another 2, hopefully 3 years.
But what we need to see is him actually be his game time and importance reduce, in my opinion, because he has to play every single minute, and that's probably been a factor in why he's had some very poor games. I think we need to have bodies around him, more like backups, adequate centre backs. That's never been there in his Liverpool career. That's another reason why I slightly feel sorry for him. He's played so many games, been so available and consistent. Hopefully with these 2 youngsters in the summer, Leone and Xhaka, maybe he won't need to play the cup games as much, and we can take him out here and there because he's getting on, isn't he?
Yeah, you do. I think when players get that age, it's about protection. And I would say, like, not protection in the sense of like that he needs it all the time, but it's like you shouldn't have a team where he's basically being the sole relier on every aspect of the defending, the leadership, the aggression, the like even when it comes to corners, like he's the one expected to head the ball away. Do you know what I mean? It's like he'll stand back post, front post, whenever that ball comes into the box, he's the one to clear it away. I think if you, like Liam, you made a good point about Thiago Silva. Like he was able to progress his career or prolong his career because he had a team around him. Like you were playing 3 at the back, and they had like a really strong midfield. I think it was a Kante, Matic was in there as well. Like they had players that were able to facilitate them, so they weren't getting like he wasn't getting attacked every single moment. And then he was able to obviously do what he could do at that level. And I think that's what Van Dijk probably needs. He needs like a Fabinho in front of him. He needs like a Caicedo in front of him. Someone just to help him out, where it's just like you stay there, you defend. We stop getting counterattacked so easily or stop getting played through so easily. And then he probably will prolong his career to 2 or 3 years. The one thing I would say of Van Dijk is that, like, do you know what? It's similar. Remember Salah's obviously famous quote is like, enjoy it this year because next year they'll expect the same. It was something like that. It was after he finished second in the Ballon d'Or. He won the PFA Player of the Year. The thing is with him is like the expectations of Van Dijk have become so astronomical that when he drops anywhere below to normal levels where he has a bad game, people are like, he's washed. He's not good enough. And like he's just performing at a level that you're seeing every other top centre back in the world play at. I think that's what it's just that expectation is completely different. Yeah. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. We have a few comments in there.
Jamie, 3 at the back, you say?
I was thinking that as well. I raised my eyebrows.
He said 3 at the back, and I was like, oh, I know the man for the job.
Listen, Alonso, 3 at the back. Yeah. Mickey says his reactions, pace, and game reading abilities all at fast pace are nowhere near what they were good enough anymore.
Disagree.
Yeah. What is that take this season? VVD better than Gabriel and Saliba, really?
It's not about putting them in that team. You know what I mean? I'm saying if Van Dijk is in that team, if Gabriel was in this Liverpool team, you would see the Gabriel of 2020 when every single Arsenal fan in the world wanted his head. All of them hated Gabriel before he was putting in defensive structure with 4 centre-backs, 3 holding midfielders, and no attacking output.
Well, you'd see the Gabriel that played on Saturday against Southampton.
Exactly.
He was awful. It's awful.
Yeah, no, that is true. But yeah, as I said, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, folks. I think just before we maybe move on to maybe looking ahead, there was obviously, you get thumped like that in a game against Man City, and I think this is kind of the last kind of talk point I want to talk about with Man City. Szoboszlai's reaction after the game. What were your thoughts on it? Because I think it has rubbed a lot of Liverpool fans up the wrong way. I'm not gonna say my piece on it. I'm gonna let you maybe take the floor. Whoever is maybe most opinionated on it. How did you feel when you first seen him kind of doing the video and kind of your reaction to it? I'll let Annie take the floor.
I will just say a quick piece on it, right? As someone who tries to go to as many matches as possible, I would never turn around to another fan and tell them what they should or shouldn't do. Now, me personally, I wouldn't leave a game and I wouldn't boo the team. It's just, I would never do it, but I wouldn't blame someone else for doing it. And I don't think that any player, especially one that put in a half-hearted performance or basically gave up, has any right, especially with the money that they're on, to even have any light dig at the fans at all. I thought that was an absolute disgrace. I'm surprised he hasn't put out a statement yet, to be honest, because just embarrassing.
I don't understand what his point was. I'm still trying to work it out. I haven't done a video on it because I don't understand what he was trying to say. You're 4-0 down in the 60th minute. What does he want? Our fans?
Yeah, he's complaining. He's complaining to the fans that stayed as well. He's complaining to the wrong group of people.
The wrong people.
So he wants us to give them a standing ovation after they gave up with half an hour left. No chance. So, and you saw Chiesa's reaction. That was the biggest thing for me. Chiesa knew he was in the wrong, pulling him away. He knew that was a dickhead move.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I think he's probably got a bit of an ego, Szoboszlai, doesn't he? I don't think he's been, he's been our best player this season, and he was really good at the start of the season. I don't think in 2026 he's been, what's the saying? Pulling trees down or up or something. He's doing one of them.
You're a metaphor, Liam.
He's getting everything.
You're watching too much coverage.
I need to start reading some books or something. But off the ball, that's something you can never criticize him for, really. I don't think he was one of the players that gave up in the game. I think he's always our hardest worker. And that's probably why he gets the compliments he does. I think on the ball, I don't think he does too much in a lot of games. I think in a lot of games this season, he has been quite poor on the ball. He should be doing a lot better. You go and, like Brian was talking about, players going on international duty and looking better. You see how he plays for Hungary, like carrying the ball past players, dribbling. I don't think he drives forward with the ball. Doesn't create too many chances apart from the set piece ones. I don't think he has the right to go and tell fans, paying fans, the travelling fans, like I said it in the last live, like the same fans that would have seen us lose twice in Turkey, so many away days that we've lost, Brighton the last one, up and down the country, across Europe. I know, the City one is only a little train about half an hour, but it's still the principle, isn't it? Like, they can do whatever they want, whether they want to chant Xabi Alonso at the end of the game. The fans are entitled to do whatever they want, and Szoboszlai shouldn't be coming out and telling them what to do.
Yeah, you're spot on. I think, it's funny because he comes out after the game and he says, our mentality was wrong. We didn't have the fight. I'm like, you're saying that so you
every game.
But he says that, right? And I remember Curtis Jones said something similar a few months back. So you're coming out and you're saying that. You're saying you don't have the right mentality in a game. You're 4-0 down after 65 minutes and you're wondering why fans aren't staying in the ground to watch you not put in the effort. He has the answer. He's answering his own question in the interview. And I just think it was similar to Brian, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Yes, I think fans can do what they want. I think, say us maybe not going to a game every single week, it might be a little bit different because you're there, you want to obviously support the team. Whenever you're there, you want to stay for as long as you can and support the team no matter what. For fans that are going every single week, and imagine going if you're a fan and you're a season ticket holder and you've been to every home, every away game, you've seen your team lose 15 times this season.
And the manner,
and you've seen, the manners, the hammerings, and you've seen them. You've seen this story so often of them thrown in the towel. Why would you want to waste another 35 minutes when you could probably get an earlier train home when you just know that they're not going to do anything else for the last 35 minutes? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to come out and put in, or to come out and ask them to stay or why they were leaving, it's just I didn't understand it at all.
Seen a lot of quite a few of our players this season say it's important that we stick together, which is obviously true, but we were all together supporting the team, and everyone was like united last season when we won the league. So this season we need to obviously carry that on. And obviously, like I say, yeah, I agree with that to some extent. But there comes a point where you're just like, how can I get behind that? And I don't understand how the players can't really see that from the fans' point of view. Van Dijk's repeating himself after every game. The quotes I see.
Yeah, and he's getting sick for it, but he's the one who has to come out and say the same things. You know what I mean? There's nothing new to say. I don't agree with Van Dijk getting stick. I see it so much on Twitter. Everyone goes on to him saying, "Oh, change it and fix it." It's not just on one specific player. As a group, they all need to do better, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. I think these players, their mentality. I was saying earlier when we were talking, their mentality, a lot of them is all wrong, and they really need to kick up the arse. Obviously, the manager is. I don't think this narrative of, or this saying these days in modern football of has the manager lost the players, lost the dressing room? That gets thrown around a lot, but I think it's gone way beyond that. I think he lost them. I think he lost them genuinely in November after the Salah thing.
I'd agree.
I think it hasn't come back since. They've lost respect for him. Some of the training clips I've reacted to this week, it's embarrassing.
I was go on, Brian.
I was just going to say to build off something there that was kind of said with the mentality. I think for me, there's been so many examples of it this season, and I don't know whether you'll agree with this or not. Usually I wouldn't agree with this, but I think we lost, was it 2-1 to Wolves, obviously last minute. And the next morning, Szoboszlai is on his Instagram story tagging Vinicius Jr. in a post of a pair of boots that are sent. And look, usually I would never have an issue with that, even on, whatever point. But I just feel like they just don't get it. It feels like they are so far away and so disconnected from the fan base and understanding that to put a story out like that, especially when you've had the Real Madrid links, especially when you've had, that performance against Wolves, team that are bottom of the league, a team that were struggling to even get a point 2 months ago. It just, for me, has set a precedent with this squad that they just don't care, and they show it on the pitch now, but they're also showing it off the pitch. I've never felt so disconnected from a group of players in my life, and I still think they are world class individually as players, but as a team collectively, they're just.
That's so right. There's so many examples. Ekitike coming off with a dead leg against Brighton. Curtis Jones coming on against Brighton, putting something on Woodman's head, like messing around.
Ekitike swapping shirts. They're not taking it seriously.
Yeah,
they don't get
fans that suffer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was only thinking there? I feel like every time Slot has been on the brink, he's got to win. Reel them back in or buy himself a little bit more time. You think about the run that we went on. He beats Real Madrid. Within that, there's obviously the loss to Wolves. He bounces back. He wins in the FA Cup to Wolves. Then he goes on in the Galatasaray game, wins 4-0. There's throughout the season, there's always been a moment where it's this is it. He's gonna get sacked if he doesn't perform, and then he gets a big win. I seen someone there put a comment in. Yes, I would sack Slot if he wins the UEFA Champions League. So if Slot, right, and we know how bad it has been, if he wins the Champions League, would you still sack him, or does he deserve another season?
No, I think if he wins in his first 2 seasons, the Premier League and the Champions League, while I wouldn't back him, he would have to stay. Surely, and I might not want him to, but you can't win the Champions League and get sacked. Whatever about the FA Cup, but the Champions League. Well, we know.
You don't have to be the best team in the Champions League to win it. You can get a little bit of luck, a little bit of a run, and you win it. But does that mean that the issues that we've seen so far, that they'll continue? So what I'm trying to allude to is that every time he's needed a win this season, he's got it. And
what
now
you're trying to say about Wednesday then, yeah?
Yeah. Come on to Wednesday.
At least there's some positivity. I'm all
no, but what I'm saying, every time he's needed a win, he's got it, right? And now I would think the only thing that's going to keep him in a job is winning the Champions League. But if he wins the Champions League, I think most Liverpool fans will be well, he does still need to get sacked, but he's after winning the Champions League. So it's it kind of it's almost like sacrificing next season because he won the Champions League, but do you just sack him anyway?
No. I think if we were to win the Champions League, it means that we would have beaten PSG over 2 legs, most likely beaten Bayern Munich or what is it Real Madrid over 2 legs, and then we beat Barcelona or Arsenal or someone like that in a final. I think for us to do all of that, that would suggest that, you know, there's been some good performances somewhere along the way. I would obviously, you can't sit there and say you want him sacked after him delivering, like Brian said, a Prem and a Champions League. But it doesn't mean I'd have any more confidence going into the next season that, you know, he's going to turn it around. But I think you just have to, I would 100% take another season of Slot. This was a good question, to be fair. Would you take another season of Slot if it meant we were in the Champions League?
Yeah.
There's a hook for a video now.
100%.
Cheers, mate. I was struggling. That'll be my video tomorrow.
See, like, I think it would cause a lot of debate, though. He must be sacked. The UEFA Champions League won't change the problems. I think that's what a lot of people feel. We're going to go on to PSG now in a second, but let us know your feeling in the comments, fellas. What do you think? Or what's your opinions on it? Would you sack Slot even if you got Champions League? Or do you think the problems really run that far? That's how dire it's gotten. But yeah, going on to PSG, I suppose. We had a little bit of optimism last week, but I don't know. I think worried, concerned, disturbed. There's a lot of words you could probably talk about for the PSG game coming this week. How are we feeling after the Man City game? What are our expectations going into the game? Is it damage limitations? Are you hoping that we can get a win? Are we going to see a performance, a rejuvenation that sometimes we've seen this season from this Liverpool team? What are we thinking?
It's damage limitations. It's trying to keep the scoreline as low as possible, man. It's going there and trying to maybe, you know, lose 1 or 2-0, bring it back to Anfield.
Not even a draw. Not even a 1-1 draw or anything.
I mean,
I take a 2-0 loss.
Yeah, I think a 2-0 loss.
I mean, are we keeping a clean sheet there? Are we against that attack, against that midfield?
Did last season?
No. Alisson had the game of his life last season. Though Mamardashvili, that's probably something that the only thing that we didn't touch on from the City game in terms of negatives. I don't think Mamardashvili is anywhere near the level of Alisson in goal. But yeah, like Max says, we are all, and like he referred to, you said it in the last live, we are a moments team. We are 100% not going to go there and win. We scammed the win last season and we were a much better side than we are now, I think. So yeah, I would just make sure the score stays down. Hopefully you nick a draw potentially. I do think we can score. We've definitely got more chance because, like I said, we've got Verts this season. We should have more control in the game. We really struggled for controlling the match last season. So we should
fullback still.
Yeah, exactly. And Chelsea had a lot of chances against them in Paris as well. I'm pretty sure they actually won the game on XG.
They were doing all right up until like the last 10 minutes. You know what I mean? They just collapsed.
That's what I mean. So there definitely is. PSG are an easier side to beat this season than they were last season. I think we played them quite early in there. You know, when they started going on that run, they just signed Kvaratskhelia. They were pretty much a new team. I don't think anyone had really beaten them, or they hadn't played any massive games in the Champions League. But now there is a bit of a, you know, a sample size of probably a blueprint. You know, Chelsea beat them in the Club World Cup final as well, didn't they? There probably is that blueprint of getting a result. In terms of, you know, am I confident? Definitely not. I know I said it in the last live. I'm not confident, but there is the chance. There is that 99% hope, 1%.
No, it's 100%. 100% hope, 0% chance.
I was just thinking though, set pieces are interesting because I think you can get at them from set pieces, and we've 100%. Been all right. We've actually scored quite a few goals from corners in the Champions League, or one against Real Madrid from a free kick. There was one against Frankfurt as well.
2 against Frankfurt, I think.
2 against Frankfurt, yeah. So maybe Konate and Van Dijk can do something. They're not the tallest team at all, but that's all I'm kind of. That's when you know it's bad, when I'm looking at this Liverpool team to try and do something from set pieces.
Set piece.
That says a lot, man. I think it's going to be a long night in Paris.
So not optimistic then, fellas.
I think it depends on the lineup.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to come on to. Like, what, in terms of how you would set up in Paris, Max, you talked a little bit, you'd maybe sit in and try and hit the counterattack, but like, what team would just go for it then?
I'd pack the midfield out. Maybe similar to what I know Gakpo started that game, I think, against Arsenal away.
That's what I'd go for.
Central striker, something like that, where you pack the midfield, Verts is kind of drifting in off the left. Maybe, I'd play a Katika instead of Gakpo, but then maybe Frimpong as the right winger to provide the pace and the out ball. But just try and be as compact as possible, not even look to try and press them high at all. Because if you do, they're gonna pop you. And the quality they've got in the front three. If we go 1v1 like in wide areas, it's going to be a bloodbath. So that's what I'd do. I don't know specifically what 11. I haven't really thought about it yet, but we haven't got many options really, have we? I don't know what you guys think. Brian, what do you think about the midfield? That's what I want to talk about, the midfield, because Gravenberch was so bad against City.
I think similar to you, I would love to see probably, it's so hard, but maybe a Curtis Jones start, which isn't going to happen. But maybe Curtis Jones, Gravenberch,
McAllister.
McAllister starts.
McAllister starting probably.
McAllister is going to start, but I just don't know.
I thought he had his worst game.
There's a lot of options.
I thought McAllister had his worst game last season against PSG away. We were shocking. Like I've been talking about, the lack of control in the game. I think there's probably more conversation about what system it will be rather than what players come into the team. You know, like I said, I think there's a big possibility we do go with that double 10 that we saw, and Arsenal do the same in a similar sense to PSG with their fullbacks. You know, having them attack those half spaces and overlaps on the wings. You need players that are going to track the runners. That's why I don't think Salah should start. Gakpo and Frimpong were, you know, getting back so much. We almost had a back six a lot of the time against Arsenal, and we actually did a bit of that against City, to be fair, and that's why it went so wrong. So it does depend on who starts, the profiles of players in the team, in my opinion.
If Endo was fit, I'd start him. I know he's not, but that's the sort of profile of player.
Did you guys see that clip going around of Endo smashing the PSG player last year? Yeah. Like, have you seen that once this season?
No, not all.
They're usually late.
Go on, Jamie.
They're usually late for a tackle. You know what I mean? Not even getting to those types of challenges where they're able to put in a tackle like that. Do you know what I mean? But I would probably go. The optimism is coming back into me. I'm feeling like a sneaky little draws in there, and then we'll take it back to Anfield. More because I'm going to the game at Anfield and we get smashed, and I'm going to be going in so unoptimistic for the whole game. But no, like, listen. The one thing I would say with this Liverpool team this season is sometimes they surprise you in the good and the bad. You know what I mean? And I think for us as fans, like, if we don't have hope going into the game, what's the point? You know what I mean? I want to be let down. It's like you have a girl that just you can't get enough of. You know, you keep going back. She's gonna let you down again, but you just keep going back. You know, one more. It's gotta work.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd honestly let this Liverpool team lower my coffin when I pass away, just to let me down one last time. They're just. Oh.
I will say, every time this season I thought we're going to get absolutely battered, it hasn't happened.
Yeah. So that's what I mean.
Are you real, man?
That's what I mean. Everyone was like, you know what? We're coming back after the international break. We have a little bit more optimism. We're going to go to Man City and we're going to like maybe get through that. And then we get hammered. And now everyone's like, we're going to get hammered against PSG. It's almost like they're like, you know what? You thought we were shit, but we're going to prove you wrong. And when they have a bit to prove, a point to prove, the pressure's kind of off them a little bit. So then they might do something. I don't know. As we said there, I still think you can score against this PSG team. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So like if we can kind of do something like that, maybe it'll be a score draw. But like I think like anything, if it's under 2 goals and you're taking back to Anfield, I think that would probably, in the grand scheme of things, be a result. Yeah, be a result.
Yeah, I said it in the last live. If there is one man, then they should know how PSG plays. He's been studying them all season since that last game. Slot has been studying them. He's trying to be PSG, the Luis Enrique PSG side. So he should know every single thing that's coming. There should be no surprises. So there is almost that hope that this is going to be one of our best performances of the season. I do think we play, if you ignore the 2 games of the Etihad, we do play quite well against teams that press us hard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I hope we test the keeper a lot, because every time I've watched him,
that comment.
I wouldn't be too optimistic, mate.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be either, to be fair. But
players can't get a shot on target.
Well, what do you think about Isak? Is he going to be in the squad?
He'll be in the squad.
That's why I'd start him at this stage. Honestly, I think I don't think we'll see anything worse. One leg is actually better.
I'd say he's about 10 minutes in him at most. Yeah. He's one of those players that takes a little while to get going. I mean. And like he barely played football in a year, so off the bench maybe for like a little bit of work, getting a little bit of run into him, and then if a chance drops his way, Like then he takes
still
it,
back
like
into
so
scoring.
smash and grab almost.
I think his first start could potentially come at Fulham.
Yeah.
No, really? What on the weekend?
I think we could see him start. It just depends how far along he is, though. Like we'll know more, obviously, how many minutes he plays against PSG.
I think he gets eased in for the rest of the season. I was going to ask the question: does he start a game for the rest of the season? To be honest, like if we get to the Champions League semi-finals, you'd have to start him in a Premier League game at some point, or the Champions League game because of rotation. Ekitike's not going to play every game, is he? But I reckon right now is too early for him. If you think about how long it took him to get up to speed, we probably didn't even see him up to speed, did we? You know, I think the sharpest he looked was in that Spurs game, the 10-minute cameo off the bench just before he gets wiped out by Van der Ven. But yeah, you could make the argument that because he's had that like injury rehab, he has had the time to regain fitness.
That's what Slot said. He said he's sharper than when he was. It's not match
fitness, is it?
No,
it's not match.
But
it's not
he is going to well, unless we get battered. He is going to probably rotate against Fulham, isn't he? So
that's why I think Gakpo definitely plays.
Yeah, I think maybe Fulham will be too much for him, but maybe 10-15 against PSG, and then that ups to half an hour against Fulham. I don't know. We need to build them up slowly.
I have the ideal scenario, fellas. We go 3-0 down to PSG at the Parc des Princes. Hear the vision. They sack Slot because they think Champions League is gone. We get Stevie G in till the end of the season. He gets a nice result against Fulham. We're 3-0 down, back at Anfield. Jamie's there. And next minute, we win 4-3. Steven Gerrard's knee sliding onto the pitch. We go on, win the Champions League. Gerrard rides off into the sun holding the Champions League.
He takes the corner quickly.
Yeah. And then you wake up, Ryan.
But if that scenario ever happens, you say ride off into the sunset, would he not have to get a permanent job? If Gerrard comes in,
this is the exact same Slot comment question I had said.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. If
they're not the right solution long term, but it's just like, well, you did that, here's the job. You know what I mean? You almost have to take the emotion out of it.
We're going to get the next man in now. Cheers to the Champions League, Stevie.
There was comments there. Actually, before we move on to just one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap up. But make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, lads, if you're new. If you enjoy this content every single week. Every week we are here, Monday and Thursday at 7:00. So we'll be unpacking the PSG result, the PSG win. Liverpool win. I mean,
I like that.
But tell me your score predictions, lads. And then there was a report earlier today that I wanted to chat about. But yeah, tell me your score predictions.
I'm gonna go an optimistic 2-2. I don't know where we get 2 goals from, to be fair, but 2-2.
I'm gonna be realistic. I wasn't realistic against City. I went with my heart. So I'm gonna say 2-0 PSG.
I have never, ever predicted a scoreline where Liverpool lose. I'm not gonna start now. I'm gonna say 1-0 Liverpool.
What clean sheet?
Yeah,
I'm gonna clean sheet. Yeah, that like wow. I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool. No, I'm gonna back the boys. Let's see who's taking surprises. Yeah. Mo Brace after he starts and silences me and Liam from out and off about him.
Well, come on and apologize. I think if we set up like we did against City in that like defensive structure, like I was talking about when me and Max made that video of like 5 players pressing, not even pressing, just being up next to the PSG defenders, there's a genuine possibility they hit us for like 7 or 8. Like Max said, City probably gave up in that second half. There's a genuine and PSG have way more quality than City, I think. So they could really wipe the floor with us in the first leg. That's why I think low block, be compact, hopefully protect the likes of Van Dijk and things like that. And yeah, nick some set piece goals like Max says.
Yeah, hopefully. There was one thing that I wanted to see. I don't know if you've seen it. Indy Kala, obviously he's a bit unreliable, but he's up and down. But he said yesterday evening that Slot had said he's going to resign he has said he's going to resign in the summer. Do you think there is a situation where Slot resigns regardless of what's going on? Like if he gets knocked out of the Champions League, and then do you think he would resign, or is it a case of he'll have to be forced out?
No, I think he would resign. I think that the club would give him the chance to be honest. I seen that same thing, but I thought it was more along the lines of the club are going to give him the chance to walk himself, basically, obviously for a more like, it was mutually agreed, but that's what I think.
I think we've seen how tactically stubborn he is this season. He's just I feel like a lot of Dutch people are just stubborn, aren't they, in terms of every single aspect. There's no way that he's walking. I don't think. I wouldn't read too much into what Indy fan is saying either.
No, I know. Yeah,
from the KFC break room.
Yeah, I don't read it. I don't read his news. It was more just a question of, do you think Slot would resign rather than getting sacked? You know what I mean? Because like, is it a case of he feels that he's lost him more than anything else?
Well, he said there was that report that came out in the international break that he told all his boys that like he was going to turn it around. So what's changed in 3 days?
I seen it now.
It's not happening, lads.
I'm walking.
It's not working. It's not working. I seen someone saying as well. It's like he started now flying. Like, do you know when they have a break, flying to the Netherlands and then getting a connection to like Ibiza and Dubai. I'm like, it doesn't matter if he gets a connection. He's going to be photographs in that place with a load of bottle servers. You know what I mean? Like, people thinking
he came back looking far too tanned for my liking. I don't think that's
Slot's not working hard enough. He's too tanned.
What was that tweet I seen? It was like, was it Wayne Lineker, and he tweeted something like, at Arne Slot, I look forward to seeing you next month or something like that. Or maybe it might not have been Wayne Lineker, but there was someone that works in like the Ibiza clubs or
he's already booked his holiday.
Free promo, like.
I think there's not a world in which, well, there is. The only world in which he doesn't get sacked now is if he wins the Champions League.
I hope so.
He's not going to resign if that happens, but you hear so many contradicting reports. Like, you'll hear David Ornstein say he has the full faith of the board, but then other people will say that German guy, I know, Brian, you've done a video on that. Yeah, he said that Xabi Alonso's waiting in the wings. So, I mean, who knows? Who really knows what's happening? But I do think, talks have definitely taken place with the board about him definitely moving on, maybe even after this game.
I actually have a question that posed to the three of you that I've just come up with here, and it's definitely very interesting when you think of it. But you know the way we always talk about he's potentially lost that dressing room. Like, when I see a couple of the pictures and videos, you always see them like laughing, joking, smiling, like nothing is wrong. Like, if you just look at the pictures, you would genuinely think, and even the intensity in training, you think we're top of the league, so far clear. But like, what are those training sessions like? Not the actual training, but the actual emotion part to it. Like, do they just hate him behind his back? Do they all slag him off in the group chats? Do they go to Salah's house and take the mick out of him on that couch? Like, because they look like they love him genuinely. When I see the pictures and videos, it blows my mind.
That's what the club are releasing, though.
Yeah, I suppose
it's hard. It's hard to gauge as well, because like I've played in teams where the atmosphere is really good and like you're enjoying working with the manager, and then I've played in teams where like the team have not liked the manager, and it's more like you still work like when you're in training, but it's more like you're not sure what he's telling you is the right thing to do, so you're kind of like discussing it between players, like, I don't think we should be doing this, and then you're not really giving it your fullest application when you go in the field. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like, when they might be training in the way that they want to train, and they might be happy when they're training because they're training with the lads, but like when they're going out and they're giving instructions, it's like, I don't think that's the right thing to do, so I'm not going to do it fully. And then we get what we've seen this season, which I think is what's happening.
I put a tweet out after they released some 26-second training clip, and my tweets never do well, but this one, it went mad, and like I got so much abuse and comments from Liverpool fans backing the clip up. I just said, it's so obvious we don't train to a high enough intensity level. And I got the response, well, how is that? How can you tell that from a 26-second clip? But I mean, you just see what you've seen all season long in games. Like, and if the club are releasing that, it's just...
That must be the best bit of the training.
Yeah.
Look at the intensity.
Yeah.
I made the exact same, but go on, Max. Sorry to cut you off.
No, sorry. I was just going to say, Mickey put in the chat, they're not scared of him. I think the fear factor is definitely not there when it comes to Slot. Like, they don't train with that in mind.
I made the exact same point. that you're saying in like November, I saw a training clip on Twitter, and I said like, oh, so we're playing with no intensity in training too. And genuinely, about 100 comments just telling me, oh, what you judging that off a 10-second clip? I'm judging it because we're seeing it in the matches too. Like none of our players can actually complete a 90-minute game of football at like an intense level, and when they do, like we talked about in the last live, like against Galatasaray, we played 3 days later against Brighton. We put no effort in at all.
No, I think it goes beyond a little training clip. That was the Ekatike one, wasn't it? I remember that. I remember.
Ekatike was just doing like ball rolls and flicks.
It looks like a kickabout. It looks like a kickabout. It's mental.
But like, listen, the intensity isn't there in the games. If it's not there in the games, it's definitely not there in the training. You know what I mean? Because you're absolutely taking your foot off the gas in training. Yeah, but you're taking your foot off in the gas 100% in training in comparison to a game. You're not putting yourself at more of a stress in a training application. But yeah, go on.
I was just going to say they show more intensity playing other sports and training than they do football. You see Florian Wirtz, he's like the LeBron James of that training ground.
Basketball.
Shooting hoops and everything. Like
there was an Oxlade-Chamberlain interview as well where he was saying about, behind the scenes with Klopp, how scary it was and how intense training was. Yeah, we've gone a million miles away from that. It's so obvious.
Yeah, 100%. But listen, the fun starts again this Wednesday. PSG away, one of the toughest grounds in European football. I want to thank all the lads for today's stream. Liam, Max, Brian. I have all of their channels linked in the description. Go and check them out. But this is our channel, the Cop 4. We are here every Monday and Thursday talking about everything Liverpool. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And yeah, thanks for joining. Cheers.
Big up.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace. And a bit.